I'm Kat. Welcome to Mission Airsoft. Here's your intro.
How's it going, guys? Mr. Prickles here, coming to you from Mission Airsoft in San Antonio, Texas. Today, I'm playing a modified game of attack and defend called Rush. In this game mode, the attackers have limited lives, while the defenders have no life limit. There are 4 objectives that the attackers must reach. We have 15 minutes to take each objective. When we take an objective, the defenders regroup to defend the next objective. If we fail to take an objective, the time is shortened to 10 minutes for each of the remaining objectives. We can't fail more than once or the defenders win automatically. Our objective is a white bucket in the middle of the map. The defenders have a lot more cover on their side of the map than we do on ours. With their abundance of cover and unlimited lives, they have the upper hand. Their only disadvantages are that they have fewer numbers and the distance they have to travel to respawn is farther than the objective is from us. As a result, us attackers have to play a very cautious game because we have limited lives. Unfortunately, that means that it's hard to push without first making sure that the coast is absolutely clear. Since we don't have very many lives, each one is precious, and we can't afford to waste it.
So we have to go back all the way that way?
No, you have your medics, but I'm pushed up all the way.
Who is medic?
Everybody's medic. You just need your tourniquets.
So, medic?
You have your tourniquets?
I was like, you too? Yeah. Well, stay medic.
As you can probably tell from the people behind me, they've already been shot. Since our cover is so small, the enemy's able to see us from farther away and hit us much easier. Despite receiving incoming fire, I decided that my best bet was to crawl using the grass and trees as cover so I could get a better vantage point.
There's a guy in black. Right over there.
One of my teammates had a better vantage point, so I called out to him to let him know that I saw somebody.
Did you get him? Yeah, you got him. Alright. Try getting at her. I'm going to take my pistol up there.
Knowing that speed and mobility were going to be essential for defending my teammate as he got the objective, I decided to ditch my rifle and just take my pistol.
Alright.
My teammate told me he was going to throw a grenade so that he could hopefully get the people out that were hiding behind the barrier. When my teammate ran to throw the grenade, I decided to use that opportunity to move up to where he was to support him in case they fired back. My teammate had to hold the objective for 10 seconds before we could move on to the next one. While the ref was counting down, another guy popped out of the brush and I took a few shots at him to defend my teammate.
Ceasefire! Ceasefire! Attackers up! Captured the flag!
We had a brief intermission between objectives, so I ran back to get my rifle. Phase 2 is where a lot of the trouble really started happening. I got shot right off the bat because we had even less cover than in the first phase. Because there was no cover, we were under fire the entire time. I had a teammate right in front of me, but she couldn't come medic me because she would get shot too. It would be a few more minutes before a younger player would come and medic me.
I'm gonna run right back.
Immediately after getting medicked, I was under fire again. This place was clear and out in the open, and I needed to get out as soon as possible. Now that I had been medicked and was back in the game, I decided that my best bet to avoid being shot again was to push up into a ditch where a bunch of my teammates were already at. One of the defenders had to leave for something really important that came up suddenly, so they asked for volunteers to go to the other side to make up for the person that they had lost.
Defend. We need one volunteer.
Should I go defend?
To defend. Step up.
Should I go defend? You know I'm leaving y'all. What?
No, Grant.
I'm going to defend.
Shoot him in the ass real quick.
Just say that we're not here, alright? Let him go. Alright. He got shot. That means we can get back. We go there.
We were now one teammate shorter, which made it a whole lot harder on the rest of us.
Alright, they just lost 2 people, they just got 2 minutes.
Once he was safely over at the defender's side, they started the game back up.
Right side down? Yeah.
I see him right through the crack. He's poking out.
There were quite a few guys behind a tree and behind a really fortified position just in front of me. I couldn't see them very well, and they were shooting through the cracks. They ended up hitting one of my teammates just now. Eventually, though, through the hail of gunfire that we laid down, most of them went back to their respawn.
I saw a bunch of guys run away.
They all got shot.
I decided now to make a push toward the objective so that we could capture it before time ran out. We only had about a minute left in Phase 2 to get the objective, so we had to hurry.
1 minute.
Cover me.
Behind the red Dorito. What? Behind the red Dorito.
Got him. The sniper's down. Go for it.
Where? It's not behind this red Dorito. Oh, one right
This
down
big
the road.
red thing that I'm sitting behind, they like to call a Dorito because of its shape. We were told that the objective was just behind the Dorito, but it was actually about 20 or 30 yards away. It was sitting way out in the open, so anyone who went for it was sure to
Can you cover
die.
me?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going.
My teammate was killed as soon as he got to it, and with only 10 seconds left, I had to make a run for it just to try.
10,
Are you dead?
9,
Fucking
8,
I was shot immediately, and no one could get there in time, so we ended up failing this objective.
1, let's go!
Hey.
The majority of the struggles that I faced in the making of this video came here in Phase 3. For starters, my goggles started fogging up, and it was really hard to clear them without taking my goggles off. So I couldn't really see for the majority of this phase. Another issue was that this was one of only 2 small entrances to this other field where we had to get our next objective. So for the enemy, it was like shooting fish in a barrel as we came out of the woods.
Oh, the rest are just sitting there.
Most of the refs were gathered in one place, which led me to believe that there were quite a few people in that area, but I couldn't see them, so it made it all the more dangerous for me to try to get out of the woods, but I knew that I had to.
These inner buildings right here.
I was confident that if I could make the run from the woods to the buildings, that I would be able to be safe once I got inside, but that was a long distance, and it was wide open. It would take a lot of luck and some pretty big balls to make that attempt without looking both ways first. And that's where this guy comes in.
Oh, I see one.
Run, Forrest, run! Run, Forrest, run!
This guy made it across pretty safely, so I figured I had a really good shot.
All right, I'm gonna run up to him.
The problem is that the snipers in the woods became aware that there were people trying to run past them, and so they were just waiting for me to make a run for it. It was during this respawn that 2 of my cameras failed at the same time. The problem with this game was that it took a long time, almost an hour of total gameplay, and I didn't have time to charge my cameras in between objectives. Since my head camera is one of the ones that died, the remainder of this phase and this objective had to be shot on my chest camera. The protective film on the case got scratched up by my magazines, so the footage is going to look really bad. The audio is pretty muffled too.
Got him.
Most of the team was at the other side of the field, and they ended up pushing through and taking the objective. That was good because it meant that we would have to go on to the final phase and try to take out the enemy at the war zone. During the intermission, I had one of my teammates change the camera from my chest to my head. So even though the lens protector is scratched, at least it's on my head and you're getting the best view. Really quick story, the ref with the white hat had a spider on his hat, and one of the other refs shot his hat and hit the spider. Somehow. We don't know how, it just happened. He would later say that his gun wasn't sighted in to be that accurate. It was just a lucky shot. The objective is in the tent, and I had to go through the fort to get to the tent. I was expecting a lot more resistance, but there was nobody here. It was too quiet. I only heard shots in the distance, but I knew that they wouldn't be dumb enough to leave the tent unguarded. So I figured there must be people inside the tent just waiting to ambush whoever came in to get the objective. Figuring that maybe they were hiding just inside the tent, I took a few pot shots into the tent to hope that maybe I could hit somebody.
I'm gonna shoot a few into the tent.
I'm gonna throw a fake frag.
It appeared that there was no one inside. Of course, the tent is really large and I was only shooting into a small area, so I was still very cautious when approaching it. As I approached the tent, I saw a guy sitting in the grass off to the right, so I decided to take a few shots at him because he was facing the other direction.
Tango down.
I briefly poked my head into the tent just to see if there was anyone that was going to shoot at me, but I didn't see anybody, so I went in. The objective was right in front of me, so I just ran for it. As I touched it, I started hearing shots.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ah, hit!
As I hit 8 on the counter, I got shot, and I was really upset because I was just 2 seconds away from taking the objective and winning the game.
You didn't specify that it was just touch, not 10 seconds?
I don't know.
Well, you won.
We did? Thank God.
Because it was touch, not 10 seconds. Why? You were dying in here?
Yeah. I got shot when I got to 8.
I was unaware that for Phase 4, all you had to do was touch the objective. So I touched it, and I sat there for about 5 minutes, just waiting for someone to come medic me, not knowing that I'd already won the game, and apparently no one else did either. While I was in there waiting to be medicked, a lot of people, including the defending team, just played on as if the game was still going.
Don't hide behind me.
So I'm told that we won anyway, because I touched it.
Text him, you see?
I was like, I already got it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but you got me too late because I said I won.
Alright guys, that about wraps it up for this video. We did manage to take 75% of the objectives, which means that we won, despite the struggles that plagued the team and myself personally throughout this game. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell icon so you can be notified each time I upload a new video. If you live anywhere in Texas and want me to come play on your field, shoot me a message or an email, I'll be happy to check it out. You might even see yourself in the next video. Until then, I'll see you next time here on Mr. Prickles Airsoft.